Silence is often described as something peaceful, something restorative, something people should want more of. It's framed as relief from noise, from pressure, from demand. And yet, for many people, silence doesn't feel relieving at all. It feels uncomfortable, unsettling, sometimes even tense. When everything finally goes quiet, something doesn't settle. It activates. Thoughts begin to surface. Memories drift back into awareness. A subtle sense of unease appears without a clear source, and that can feel confusing. If silence is supposed to feel calming, why does it often feel like the opposite? The expectation we place on silence. Silence carries expectations. We expect it to bring clarity, to bring rest, to bring a sense of ease. So when it doesn't, the discomfort can feel personal, as though something is wrong, as though calm should arrive automatically. But silence isn't an experience on its own. It doesn't come with instructions. It doesn't arrive with built-in relief. Silence is a condition, one that removes stimulation without replacing it. What fills that space isn't silence itself. It's whatever has been waiting underneath the surface of daily activity. When life is busy, that material stays unnoticed. When life slows, it becomes more apparent. Silence doesn't create comfort. It exposes what was already present. What constant input prevents us from noticing? Most days are filled with direction, conversations, responsibilities, sound, movement, digital input. Each one gives attention somewhere to land. That constant engagement keeps awareness occupied. Silence removes that engagement. When stimulation fades, there is no longer an external reference point guiding attention. The brain notices this absence immediately, not as calm, but as lack of orientation. Without something to respond to, the system begins surveying what remains unaddressed. Lingering thoughts, unfinished emotional responses, moments that were never fully processed. This isn't intentional reflection, it's automatic inventory. Silence reveals what hasn't been metabolized yet. Why stillness can feel alerting. The nervous system evolved in environments that were rarely quiet. Sound signaled safety or danger. Movement signaled the opportunity or threat. Periods without stimulus were unusual. So when silence appears, it doesn't always signal rest. It signals uncertainty, and uncertainty requires attention. Without cues telling the brain what to do next, it remains engaged, not anxiously, but cautiously. This is why silence can feel active rather than calming. There's no signal to disengage, only a pause in instruction. And in that pause, the system stays awake. How thought takes shape in quiet space. When external structure falls away, attention doesn't disappear. It reorganizes. Without conversation, sound, or task to anchor it, awareness begins to move freely, not aimlessly, but responsibly. Thoughts begin to form not because they are summoned, but because the environment no longer competes with them. Ideas that were previously muted gain volume. Questions that were postponed regain presence. Associations form without effort. This isn't a malfunction of the mind. It's a shift in priority. The absence of external demand creates kind of an openness. one where awareness becomes sensitive to what has been waiting. Not every thought that appears is important, but every thought that appears has been given permission to surface. Silence doesn't guide attention. It removes resistance. And in that removal, the mind begins to reveal how much just had been held beneath the awareness. Not urgently, but persistently. What feels like restlessness is often just the mind adjusting to freedom without direction. Why we avoid quiet without realizing it. Many people rarely experience true silence. Background noise fills rooms, audio fills pauses, screens fill still moments. Not always for enjoyment, often for regulation. Sound provides predictability. It creates a sense of continuity. Silence interrupts that continuity. Without it, the nervous system has to adjust to a lack of reference. That adjustment can feel uncomfortable, not because silence is harmful, but because it's unfamiliar, especially in lives shaped by constant stimulation. When silence feels heavy. For some, silence carries more than absence. It carries residue, unfinished emotional responses, experiences that were acknowledged but never processed, moments that were set aside because there was no space to sit with them. When life moves quickly, these experiences remain muted. They don't disappear, they recede. Quiet changes that balance. Without distraction, these impressions gain clarity. Not all at once, often subtly. A feeling without a clear label. A memory without a narrative. A sensation that resists explanation. This can make silence feel dense rather than empty. Not because something new has arrived, but because something old has become noticeable. Silence doesn't insist on engagement. It simply removes the background noise that once kept these experiences diffused. And for many people, that clarity arrives before familiarity does, which is why silence can feel weighty, not as a threat, but as confrontation with what has been patiently waiting. The mind tends to interpret silence. It assigns meaning to it. It labels it as peaceful, uncomfortable, heavy, or empty. The brain doesn't interpret silence. It responds to conditions, a reduction in signals, a pause in external direction, an environment without structure. So while the mind tries to decide what silence means, the brain is adjusting to what silence changes. One searches for interpretation, the other adapts to circumstance. This difference matters because discomfort in silence isn't a failure of calm. It's a period of adjustment, not something going wrong, but something reorganizing. And when silence becomes familiar, its character changes. Not because it becomes quieter, but because the system no longer needs to figure it out. This is mind versus brain.